about here? Two things, man. So we've gotten to a point, right, where, well, at least I want to actually discuss some shit that is going on with the Japanese, not even Japanese gaming, because it's not really their fault. Now that I'm looking at it, it's not even Japanese. It's not even the Japanese fault in terms of how they're making their games. It's the people that buy mediocrity, man. I've had a video last year. What is it? A week ago about Pokemon and how it looks worse than its predecessor last year. It actually looks is one of the worst looking games on the Switch. So you can't even say like, okay, cool. Maybe it's just it's the Switch getting older. There are games that were released before Pokemon that looks better than this one that came out. We're not even just talking about like performance. The performance is ass, right? What else is ass with this shit? The technology is ass in this shit, right? And then lastly, it's riddled with bugs. And then you have people that will literally champion the fact that it sold 10 million in 3 days. Yeah, you can call me salty all day and all night, right? I'm salty for this. But I've even asked this question too, which to me it didn't make sense when I would speak to people regarding Nintendo, and they would sit there and say, "Well, the reason why I don't want Nintendo to do this is because I don't want them to have to be put into a situation where they have to keep making AAA games." So you would rather the alternative of mediocrity, not seeing where Pokemon's potential is actually going. You'll rather literally just deal with shit. Glitchy ass games, horrible fucking graphics, horrible fucking performance, just for potential. It's not even potential, to be honest with you. I don't even know what the fuck you want to call it. I don't know what you want to call it. Because it's not quite potential. This game isn't running well. This game isn't behaving well. It has gameplay issues. And because it's one of its only kind, you're just going to accept whatever the fuck you get. That's what you're going to do? Accept it? That's what it looks like you're doing. And no one is actually calling for better quality because you're afraid that Nintendo is going to what? I don't know what the fuck you're afraid of, to be honest with you. So I'm going to enlarge this screen here so you guys can see what I'm seeing here, right? Homies are they're literally like congratulating this shit. First of all, you got journalists too. I mean, he didn't say anything egregious, but there's other people who are saying that, well, God of War, because that's another thing too. God of War sold 5.1 million worldwide for a mature rated game. We all know that mature games fucking don't sell as much as something for kids. It is not Pokemon either. You know what I'm saying? That has a mass appeal. So I don't know why this is such a shock to everybody to see that we're one of the most successful Nintendo consoles, right? Is selling Pokemon and it sold 10 million. Why is that brand new to everybody is beyond me. That shit's funny as hell to me. I don't know why that's brand new to everybody. And then to be honest with you, Pokemon always fucking sells. This one's just faster, and it usually sells to its demographic, which is about 20, 25 million every fucking time. But the fact that you got a lot of people in the space screaming about how good this is for Nintendo, and you go Nintendo, and really talk about how like what do you guys have? You don't got standards? Is that what this is? There's no standards. It's just weird to me. It's absolutely weird to me that on one side of the fence, in the Twitter community, right, gaming community, you could sit there and bitch about a frame or two, right, for either Xbox or PlayStation, right? And this game could barely hold 20 frames a second. You want to talk about glitches or an axe that didn't fucking appear during the menu system sometimes, or reused animation here or there, or invisible walls. That's another thing too. Apparently, for hack and slash games, you can't have invisible walls, whatever the fuck that means, right? You sit there, you falling through levels. The game doesn't perform well. You're not catching the Pokemon that you need to catch because the game just isn't performing. And you sit there and you champion this fucking game and act like this is a big win. All because you're a big fan of Nintendo or you're a big fan of Japanese style games. That's what this really boils down to. Let's really be honest. That's what this is. You sit here and you shit on everything else because you think with this elitist mindset that the Japanese make better games than everything the fuck else. And I don't agree with you. I feel like a lot of the times the Japanese are behind the times when it comes to game engineering. A lot of the shit that they have done is stuck all the fucking way. And when? Where is this stuck at? It's fucking stuck in what is it? The early 2000s. People were talking about Xenoblade Saga or whatever, whatever the fuck the game that game is. And I'm looking at the gameplay and I've seen this game 20 years ago. Get mad at me. Get mad at me. Do not get mad at me because of what I'm saying is accurate. I sat here and I've seen this game 20 fucking years ago. Pokemon and all these other fucking games. I've seen these games a long time ago. I've been gaming for a very long time. This shit isn't new. When you guys pretend like, oh my gosh, this is the most inventive game that I've ever seen. Y'all don't feel like this is. I don't get it. The most self-hating and racist thing that you could do, right, is to sit there and say that the Japanese make better games and don't have anything to fucking justify it with. You have nothing to justify it with. Other than you just like that preferred game. And then on top of it, I think Nintendo is the most egregious fucking company to do something like this. Every other fucking company doesn't have a problem with getting shitted on. But Nintendo could sit there, right? Nintendo could sit there and make mediocre games. Have no fucking problem making mediocre games or just churning out the same games over and over again. Or just bare minimum shit. And you guys will sit there because Nintendo is the only people that's working with their IP. It's the most important. I have to praise it. It's the weirdest fucking thing to me. It's absolutely weird. So my question really is, what is wrong with Japanese fans? Where they will sit there and think that this is the best thing since sliced bread. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with the fandom there? That's what I'm not understanding. It blows me away that they can get away with this for so fucking long. I can get the Wii, back in 2006. I get that, what ended up happening there. I totally understand that. That makes sense to me because they were doing something new. And to an extent, I can get the Wii U, right? But then they have a pattern of just really doing the bare minimum. No voice actors, no nothing. No one's telling Nintendo to do any type of AAA things either. But even the money, even the things that they actually fund, it's like, look at Bayonetta. I look at all of the Japanese fans that sit there and say that Bayonetta is one of the best games that they've ever fucking played. And I can't dispute that because that's a personal opinion, right? I can't dispute that. But I will say it doesn't perform well. It's probably the worst Bayonetta out of the three. You know what I'm saying? And you're just missing Bayonetta. You're like, oh my gosh, I really do miss Bayonetta. I do appreciate Bayonetta coming out, and if it wasn't for Nintendo, this wouldn't have happened. And just for nostalgic reasons, you're eating fucking vomit. It's bizarre to me that the Japanese fans behave the way that they behave when it comes to their games. I'm not saying that the West is impervious to any type of criticism, but I'll fucking tell you this. At least they're trying to push the envelope one way or fucking another. Mario is one of those particular games that, you know, that's the only one that they're deciding to change. To be honest with you, that's the only one. That's their flagship game. And Zelda just kind of fell into it in general. Because Zelda was kind of... I can't even say that. Zelda did some things, you know, Skyward Sword or whatever, but it was kind of like done sloppily, but people swept that shit under the rug because they sat there and was like, well, I don't necessarily want to say that it's bad because it's Nintendo. You know, Nintendo really helped out the gaming industry, so we can't really say anything, you know. I don't want to say nothing bad about this. You know, it's... Are y'all done licking ass? I guess that's really what I want to like. That's what y'all been doing. Y'all been licking Nintendo's ass for a very long time, and it's ridiculous to me. Then we have this Oobla Fool. Their games play amazingly and have amazing fun mechanics. They don't always look or perform great, but it will be hard to understand. But it would be hard to understand if you never actually played any of them. I don't even know what that last piece is, because it's not like I didn't play any of them. If that's directed towards me, that's not what's going on. I played my fair share of Nintendo games, and I have people that have Nintendo stuff. I played them too. Like I'm able to play Nintendo games without buying that shitty piece of hardware. You know what I mean? And without licking the ass of Nintendo. I'm not going to sit there and take mediocrity. Just because you want to hear weird ass sound effects and fucking cooking and shit or whatever the hell y'all guys like. Whatever weirdo shit it is. I don't give a fuck. To me, it's weird. It's fucking weird to me that you guys will criticize everything else. I'll sit there, and especially you'll sit there and be on PlayStation and say that I can't play this game because it doesn't run at 60 frames a second. I gotta put this game on a fucking shelf until it runs at 60 frames a second, and then turn around. Look, if you have that preference, you have that preference. But then you sit there and you turn around, right? You turn around and then play a game that is fucking 480i or whatever resolution it is, sometimes 320p. The game runs at 20 frames a second. You're playing a worse version of the fucking Witcher, and you got glitches all over the place. That is unheard of for Nintendo, and they don't even push a lot of their games forward. Their concepts are they're so bare bones and simple. And maybe that's what the world needs in terms of, you know, there's complication and then there's just simplistic game mechanics. But they don't even try to do anything the fuck else. They don't advance anything. Nothing that they have done other than Breath of the Wild, which took them, 10 years to fucking make, is the only time that they actually done something that really pushed the medium forward. They aren't mediocre in terms of gameplay, graphics, and performance. I can understand. Well, how do you define mediocre? That's my thing. I hear this because now we're in subjective territory, right? It is funny because I can hear the same people claim that the stuff that comes out on, let's just say, because I'm a fan of PlayStation, let's just say PlayStation first party, sit there and say that those games are fucking mediocre. Those games are fucking mediocre, right? But everything Nintendo pushes the fuck out. Oh, did you buy Nintendogs? That guy, Ken, did you buy Nintendo's? Were you playing that fucking game? Do you have Splatoon? Are you that much of a fan? And what are they doing? I'll give them Splatoon. But you're going to sit there and say that the other games are mediocre because of what? Because Sony is going after what? Cinematic experiences? With different types of gameplay? Like, that's what's going on? Get fucking real, man. Get real. Like, this shit is like, it's old to me. Same old ass argument that Nintendo, they may not be good in graphics, but they're good in gameplay. It's the same thing as saying Microsoft isn't good with their first party, but they're good with their Game Pass. It's an old fucking argument. It doesn't exist any fucking more. It's old. Microsoft's ship has sailed a long fucking time ago. They do nothing well. Nothing is well with them. And Nintendo's ship has sailed a long time ago as well. There's no excuse to have those type of games fail like they do. Because what? And I know actually there is an excuse because you motherfuckers keep buying. Y'all keep buying the same shit over and over again. There's no false equivalence. It's you guys that tell Nintendo it's okay. And all the other Japanese developers and shit like that. It's you guys. Y'all the one that encourages that bad behavior. Just like it's the same people that encourage fucking microtransactions. Y'all keep buying this shit. So it's gonna keep getting made. Y'all had a great opportunity to put your fucking foot down when it came to Nintendo and their shenanigans, yo. And y'all didn't do that shit. For the people who bought that shit, y'all didn't do it at all. Y'all sat there and ate the fucking vomit, is what y'all guys did. Y'all ate their vomit. The same shit they keep pumping out over and over and over again. That's what the fuck y'all ate. Y'all ate that shit. Look at this dude. Excuse me. Cool dude, right? But look at this. Let me get you in detail, so you can see what I'm looking at on the YouTubes, right? Pokemon Scarlet and Violet sold a record-breaking 10 million, putting it all in caps and shit in 3 days with over 4 million in Japanese sales. This is the biggest Pokemon launch, the biggest Switch launch, the biggest Nintendo launch, the biggest console exclusive launch of all time. How about this? There's a couple of things. Third-party games don't sell fucking well. That Bayonetta that you guys are looking the ass of, that don't sell well. It was 1 million or 2 million over 3 years. That's number one. Nintendo's consoles are that's Nintendo's playground. So all their shit is going to sell. That's what you would buy the Switch for, is for Nintendo shit. Number three, fucking it's Pokemon. That franchise has been there since the 90s. Who's an idiot that's going to sit there and compare this franchise with fucking a mature God of War that wasn't there in the fucking 90s? And just got its popularity, a couple of years ago, 5 years ago, that really got it. Or I will say back in 2010 or 11, whenever fucking God of War 3 came out, it never did those fucking numbers. You know, this reductive bullshit. Then they say that, you know, it's like it has nothing to compete with. Motherfuckers that got Switch game, the Switch console, there's nothing to compete with. So you have no choice but to buy that game. When you have a PlayStation platform or Xbox platform or a PC platform, you got third party shit you got to worry about as well as the fucking first party. What is this a whoa with a fucking head explosion? Why is that new? And I see these spaces and these social media therapy sessions over and over again, talking about how You know what I mean? Sony needs to do better with Japanese fucking games, man. Get the fuck out of here, man. It's the dumbest fucking shit ever, yo. I'm over really talking about it, truthfully.